I've been in natural healing and energy medicine for more than 50 years and have a big following. I've written books, all that. But 4 years ago, I was listening to a brilliant quantum physicist who said, I don't care what's going on in your body. If your blood is dirty and your circulation is blocked up, you can't get better. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, he's absolutely right. That is so true. But what can clean your blood? What can unblock your circulation? And he went on to say that he was head of this science team that had been together for 50 years and that they had been given the problem to solve of what's the cause of aging, what's the cure for all disease, and it had to be 100% plants. And they assembled a huge team, and they studied the people that were, over 100 years old and what they were eating and all of the plants. But this team was able to do something nobody else has ever done. They've gone into the actual quantum structure of the plants. Most plants have like 1,000 different types of molecules, and they were able to locate and remove and study every single molecule. So most plants have like 1,000 different types of molecules, and they studied 44 of the most powerful plants on the planet. And this was almost a 30-year study, because 150 million variables, and how this molecule reacts with that molecule, and on and on. And they tested it on 300,000 patients in Europe through medical doctors. Everybody got better. And 50% of them had stage 3 and 4 diseases. The other 50% were elite athletes, actors, and very wealthy people. And it was the son-in-law of the head of the science team brought it to the United States a little more than 4 years ago. I was lucky enough to hear about this when it was only 3 months old. And I thought, man, I've never heard of anything that can clean the blood and open the circulation. And that's what they were saying. So I ordered enough for my entire family, and we began using it. I was in a wheelchair because I'd had a car accident and bone on bone in my hips, and I was refusing to have hip surgery or back surgery. And within 2 months of using this spray, 4 sprays under my tongue, morning, afternoon, and evening, I could walk with no pain. And that was because it opened up my circulation and microcirculation, so inflammation went away. I mean, I was absolutely shocked. My husband had been diabetic for 40 years. He was on insulin, and when he started it, by day 5, he had to cut back on insulin by 60%. And by the end of 4 months, he was off insulin. His pancreas was working. He was 80 years old. He had also been in atrial fibrillation with his heart for 10 years and in and out of congestive heart failure, and his cardiologist had said, he'll never get better, it'll only get worse. And by the end of 4 months, he had not had any episodes at all. And we went to the cardiologist, and they recorded his heart, normal sinus rhythm for the first time in 10 years. So I wrote a newsletter to all of my followers going, oh my gosh, you've got to hear about this. This is the best. But let me just tell you what happens. When you spray this under your tongue, the body responds. This is 100% plant molecules, from God's garden. Nothing else added. And the body responds by going, opening the circulation and the microcirculation so inflammation can go away. And then it begins nourishing the body back to health so that it's, this is a quantum physics part. If you put high-frequency molecules like this spray into a closed system like the circulatory system, all the low-frequency stuff in the blood raises up in frequency, transmutes. Things like virus, bacteria, fungus, mold, chemicals, pesticides, glyphosates, heavy metals, radiation, chemtrails, spike protein, plastic particles. God knows what else. Stuff that shouldn't be in our blood. Raises it up in frequency, also in pH so that the body can deal with it and not be hurt and get rid of it naturally, gently. The other thing that it does is it boosts our immune system. You know, Dr. James mentioned the word zombie cells. Zombie cells are cells that don't die, but they're damaged and they don't work, but they take our nutrients and then they secrete toxins, which make more zombie cells. Well, our depressed immune systems from all the toxins in our air, food, and water, most people's immune systems can't even find the damaged and diseased cells. But this lifts the immune system up to give it vision so it can locate and destroy the fast-aging, the damaged, the diseased zombie cells and get rid of them. And one other thing that this does that nobody's ever done before, this stimulates our own stem cells. By the time you're 30, you're about 50% of them are gone. By the time you're 60, there's probably none left. I'm 76. I've got massive amounts, and what's happening is when my body gets rid of aging and damaged and diseased cells, then and instead of duplicating my 76-year-old cells with shorter telomeres, my body's bringing in brand new baby, young stem cells with very long telomeres, which indicate long life. So that's what it does. And for me, I've been using this over a little bit more than 4 years now. And I am so much younger. People that haven't seen me in 4 years don't even recognize me. I'm 50 pounds lighter. My skin glows and the wrinkles are gone. My blood work, by the way, is perfect. It's never been perfect in all my years in natural healing. And it's totally perfect, but the really big deal, now 4 months is a complete upgrade in your blood. That's your life force. That's why I said 4 months, because that's when major things have happened. But they say if you do this consistently for 3 years, you'll have a whole new body. I have a whole new body. And 4 months ago, I had a weird thing happen. I woke up in the morning and I had this huge bruise on my foot. I did not hurt myself in bed. I don't know what happened. And a friend of mine looked at it and said, oh, my God, you need to go to get a vascular sonogram because that could be a blood clot. So I did. And when the woman went in on my groin, the first words out of her mouth were, oh, my God. And I'm going, what's wrong? She says, you have the cleanest, most open lymph system I've ever seen. I'm going, well, that's good. Up and down on my veins. She says, how old are you again? I told her. She said, I get 30-year-olds that don't have as healthy-looking veins. And then she went up and down on my arteries, and she said, girl, we're going to talk. She says, I've been doing this for 23 years, and I have never seen anybody older than 13 with no plaque in their arteries. And I'll tell you, that shocked me because at 60, I had high blood pressure, shortness of breath, heart arrhythmias. I was in and out of the cardiologist every other month. Both my parents died of heart attacks at age 72. Here I am at 76 with no plaque in my arteries. And I've got thousands of people using this, and I'm seeing reversals in things I have never, ever seen before. Physical, mental, and emotional. Because when you can open your circulation, clean the blood, boost the immune system, stimulate stem cell production, everything gets better. Everything. So that's pretty much my story.